What's going on, guys? This is John Zakari, and today I want to talk about the power of the Nintendo Switch, as it was recently just confirmed that the system runs on pretty much the standard Nvidia Tegra X1 chip with 4 ARM cores and an Nvidia Maxwell. Yeah, there's all these really in-depth breakdowns you can get into about it, but I guess the reason this is newsworthy is that it was sort of suggested that the chip for the Switch was more of a custom chip rather than this practically stock one, I guess. Word now is coming out that I guess the custom aspect went more into the API for the system. Custom is just sexier, isn't it? We like to hear it and boast about something being custom. Like, if I use my Switch as a pizza plate, can I just say the grease stains on it and make it custom? Jesus. So what does this actually mean? Honestly, I don't fucking know. I don't build gaming systems for a living. But apparently, it means the thing isn't as powerful as many had hoped. And you know whose fault all this focus on system power comes from? You know who's to blame? That goddamn hedgehog Sonic. Sega and their frickin' blast processing. You did this to us. They ruined video games. I'll just say it. Okay, maybe not really, but let's be honest, since the Battle of Bits from back in the day, we just can't seem to get past picking apart a system's hardware. Now, I am a person who regularly touts about the importance of power when it comes to a console's hardware. And I know that's often a problem with the Nintendo fanboys. They can't stand talking about the importance of power when it comes to gaming systems. They'll sit there and they'll talk about how breathtaking the environments are in Breath of the Wild, or how massive the open world is. But no, they're right, the game would be just as good if it was running on the GameCube. But yeah, for me, if Breath of the Wild didn't come out at launch, I'd probably be a bit worried. But honestly, with the technical prowess of that game, granted there are some frame rate issues, but while also being a launch title, I'm pretty optimistic as far as the future games we'll see on the console. And while power is important, while graphics do matter, they aren't the most important things. In the end, of course, great games make great systems. And fortunately for Nintendo, they already got one game down. Now, Nintendo has never had a problem with making great games for their systems, but this always goes back to one of the major issues with their platforms: the third-party support. A system that is less powerful is hardly a good selling point for developers. Nobody wants to do things like turn down the graphics or physics, or even, God forbid, take out game features to get a game running on a system. An instance I always think of with this is the Nemesis system back in Shadow of Mordor, one of the coolest aspects of the game, and it needed to be pretty much completely removed to get the game onto Xbox 360 and PS3. But these are businesses after all, and there is nothing more attractive to a business than making money. And here's where it gets good, at least for Nintendo fans. The Switch is doing great sales-wide, at least currently. It pretty much sold out in many regions shortly after release, and Nintendo has currently reported that they're doubling the current production run in attempts to meet demand. Sales-wise, this is great for Nintendo. Supply-wise, not so great for many consumers. But to these developers, every Switch sold is a potential customer for their games. And if the momentum of the Switch maintains, or at least stays pretty high, devs probably aren't going to be able to resist getting in on that action. Some are already dipping their toes in, as that's the way I've put it at least. We're not seeing many brand new experiences designed for the Switch from the ground up, but we are seeing ports of new and old games, which I'm sure companies are using to kind of gauge interest. And those things are really where you guys come in. I mean, something like Skyrim, for instance, I've given it a hard time for being an older game and charging a full $60 price tag for it and other things as well. But if you're a Bethesda fan and you want to see more games from them on the Switch, perhaps Fallout or even potentially something new, this is your opportunity. When that game releases, that will be your opportunity to show them that there is an audience for their games on the system. And that goes for most companies bringing whatever titles they are over. Now, they're also partly waiting on the sales. With the flop that was the Wii U, I have stated I think it is smart business for many of these companies to hold off dedicating much of their time on the Switch, but as I just said, the thing has had a damn good start for sure. So yeah, I'll always maintain that system power matters, but it's rarely such a problem that it's worth getting worked up about. Less powerful systems outperform their more powerful competitors all the time in terms of sales. If the games are there, the players won't be far behind. Simply, I think Nintendo's biggest problem is going to be keeping that Switch hype alive. I mean, I really want to see some Switch-focused Nintendo Directs ASAP. If they can keep generating news that transitions into more interest and thus more sales, then I still think they can do great things with this system. And plus, for those of you who are big power mongers and just don't see this thing as beefy enough, we will no doubt see a better model down the line. I imagine we'll see the new Nintendo Switch or something like that within just a few short years. But with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on the Nintendo Switch's Tegra X1 standard non-custom basic chip with Skynet API in the comments. As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.